The story is going to be really fun because there's lots of singing and dancing. And you're going to have a chance to sing along with me when we do this next scene. You ready? Give it up for the little goat and the big bad wolf. Once upon a serene time, tucked away in a cozy cottage nestled within a quiet woodland, lived a gentle mother goat and her 7 playful kids. Their days were filled with warmth and laughter. These little ones were so adorable that they looked more like soft toys than real creatures. Every morning, sunlight danced through the window, lighting up their small, cheerful home and their hearts with happiness. Mother Goat adored her kids. Her affection for them was deep and unwavering. She cared for them tenderly and protected them from dangers lurking in the dark forest that surrounded their home. One crisp morning, as dew still glistened on the leaves, Mother Goat gathered her little ones around. With a voice full of love, she said, "My dear children, I'm heading into the forest today to gather food for our table. As much as I wish to stay, I must leave you for just a little while. But promise me something important. Under no circumstances should you open the door for anyone while I am gone. You mustn't let in strangers." The kids looked at her with curious, trusting eyes. She continued in a softer tone, "Something dangerous may come our way, the sly, wicked wolf. He is cunning, and that way he might try to trick you by changing his appearance. So it's crucial you know how to recognize who is real and who is not." "What should we look for?" one of the little goats asked, a tremor in its voice. "Listen to his voice," Mother Goat instructed. "My voice is gentle and clear, his is coarse and rough. If you hear that harsh tone, don't be fooled." She embraced them, one by one, in a gentle kiss on their soft heads. As she turned to leave, she paused and added, "There's something else. My feet are snowy white, but the wolves are as dark as night. That's another way for you to tell us apart." "I understand," the kids chimed, nodding in unison. "We'll stay safe." "Don't worry." Now, Mother Goat stepped out into the forest, every hoof step forward, full of cautious optimism. Behind her, inside the cottage, the little goats pressed their ears to the door, their hearts small but determined to keep their promise. No sooner had Mother Goat vanished among the trees than a figure appeared at the cottage door, a wolf lurking in the shadows, with eyes keen and voice sly. He knocked, his patience separating into malevolent anticipation. A knock sounded. Tentatively, one of the youngest called through the door, "Who's there?" The wolf purred. Children opened the door. "It's your mother. I've come carrying treats from the forest for you." But the young goats exchanged knowing looks. "Your voice. It sounds rough and coarse. That's not how mother speaks. You're not her. We know it's you, the wolf. You can't trick us." Now the wolf was taken aback. Foiled in his first attempt, he retreated hastily. He needed a new strategy, and for that, he would need some help. Now the wolf went into town, searching for just the thing to fool those kids. And he thought to himself, "I need a disguise. Something to make me look just like Mom. I think I have an idea." He went into a small shop and bought a large piece of chalk. The wolf devoured the chalk in short order, grinding it between his teeth until his voice, bizarrely, softened. Chalk dust clung to his tongue and flattened the rasp from his throat, transforming his growl into something unsuspectable. "Hello," he said, surprised at his own voice. "What's much better? I just need a few more tricks." He walked back to the cottage, and the chalk-laden wolf, with his voice now muffled pleasingly, banged on the door again. "Children," he said in his soft tone, calling out, "please let me in. I've brought food from the forest." The young ones paused, startled. The voice, it's different now. Much like mother's, maybe it's her. Their hearts wavered. But just as they reached to unlock the door, the smallest one peeked through the gap carefully and cried out, "Look, at her feet." Peering down, they saw hoof prints that were dark and not the pure white of their beloved mother. Their alarm rose. "No, that's impossible," they shouted. "Those aren't her feet. They're too dark. This is the wolf again. We won't open the door. Once more, the wolf's deceit was undone. Fuming, he fled. Determined to trick them still, he devised a third ruse. This time, he slipped on proper camouflage. He visited a baker's shop and, claiming to be a vegetarian, asked for flour to support his new diet of pastry instead of goats. The baker, bemused but obliging, handed him a sack of fine white flour. With cleverness, the wolf walked back to the cottage and carefully emptied the flour over his dark paws and feet until they appeared snowy white, matching Mother Goat's. With this visual disguise, he knocked once again on the wooden door. "My sweet children," he spoke in honeyed tones. "Open the door. It's Mother, bringing delicious treats." The kids, hearing the gentle voice and seeing the pale feet, hesitated no more. They unlocked the door and swung it open, convinced. But within moments, their faith shattered. There, on the threshold, stood the fearsome wolf in all his murderous intent. His eyes gleamed, and his jaws uncovered sharp teeth as he lunged forward. The little goats shrieked in terror and scattered to save their lives. One dashed under the sturdy old table. Another scrambled into the soft embrace of a bed. One darted up the chimney, and the fourth dove into the kitchen's cabinet hideaway. The fifth squeezed into the open closet. The sixth hid behind the curtain, trembling. The seventh, small and clever, raced and dove headfirst into the safety of the grandfather clock. Yet the wolf was swift. One by one, he located each hiding place and swallowed the poor goats in a cruel rush. One by one, he devoured them, every squeal and plea silenced in his gluttonous hunger. Only the clever goat in the grandfather clock escaped his grasp, its little heart pounding as the wolf's mouth turned away, his belly slightly less empty, his game still not over. With a malicious smirk, the wolf, since he had grown rather full, left the cottage. He padded away into a nearby yard beside the forest. There, in the shade of a broad, leafy tree, he lay down and fell into a heavy, rumbly sleep. Meanwhile, some time later, Mother Heart stirred within the forest rays. Mother Goat returned home with baskets brimming with berries, nuts, and forage ready to share a feast with her children. But as she neared, her heart sank. The door of her little cottage swung wide open. Panic fluttered in her chest. Inside, chaos. Overturned chairs, upended tables, strewn blankets, torn curtains, scattered pillows, and toppled beds. The cottage was as if struck by a great wind. She darted through room to room, calling out in terrified whispers, "My little ones, where are you?" She called their names, softly first, then louder until her voice cracked. There was no answer, only silence. Then, just as she was certain of a dreadful fate, she heard a faint, familiar voice calling back, weak and high-pitched from the direction of the clock. "Mommy." "I'm in the clock." Her heart leapt. She rushed toward the tall grandfather clock, its pendulum still ticking in the gloom. She wound open the wooden door and gently drew out the trembling little goat. The child clung to her, tears and fear turning into relief. "I'm here," Mother Goat murmured, pressing kisses onto its fur. The young goat recounted the horror and sobs. The wolf,